Want to see something cool? Watch this video. These are all of the complaints about elevators made to the Department of Buildings in New York City. And they're actually occurring real time. These are actual complaints from January to March of this year. And each of these colors represent the kind of complaint that was issued, and the taller the graphical representation, the more complaints there were. So how did I do this? I did it using Power Maps and Excel 2013. So let's take a look at how I did this right now. We'll go through and build this together. So let's start with our spreadsheet. This is data I received, real data from the Department of Buildings of all the elevator complaints in New York for the time period mentioned, January 1st, 2014 to March 31st, 2014. The only changes I've made to this are, I did only narrow it down to only elevator complaints. I changed the category so that instead of seeing a category number, I actually see the text of what the category complaint is, so it makes it a little easier to read. And I added in a city and state because this information only included an address line, and it's possible that there are Park Avenues or Fifth Avenues or 57 streets elsewhere in the world, so I want to make sure that this map knows particularly I'm referring to New York City. Now I'm in Excel 2013, which is necessary, and I have installed the Power Map add-on, so this is also important. So under Insert, I can click on Map, and it's going to go out, and you can see I already had one out there, so we'll just do another tour. And it's going to connect my data to Bing Maps, and you can see the Bing logo right here. So it's necessary that I have an internet connection active on my machine. And the first thing it asked me about is the geography of the data. And it's already selected address, city, and state, and you can see it's matched it up with what it has. So on the left side are my columns, and then on the right side are what Bing Map needs. And you can see I have a variety of things I can include, including longitude and latitude. So if that's something you have, that could be interesting. I've been thinking about plotting out a sailing trip that we took into the British Virgin Islands just to see it on the maps. I thought that might be fun. So now I'll click on Next, and now it's asking me what does this data represent. And I'm going to select Complaint Category, and just by clicking on it, it knows I must want this in the category, and it knows automatically that that's probably how I want the height of it to represent as well. And I'll also include date entered. So now I have this representation by date, and if I click on it, you could see it building over time. So that's essentially all that I did to make this happen. Now let's add to this to make it a little bit more powerful. So what I'll do is I'll just simply click on Add Scene, and it inserts the second scene, and I want this to be 3 separate scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Scene again. So now I have all of my scenes set. I'll click on the middle scene, so I just have it selected. And now what I'm going to do is zoom in on my data, and notice I can move it around a little bit, zoom in on it. So now I'm over Brooklyn, I'm over Queens, and let's narrow down. There's Manhattan right there. And I could also choose to tilt it in either direction that I'm interested in. So let's tilt it like this. And then let's also turn it a little bit. So we're seeing all of New York here. And then let's change this one to a heat map. And now we could see that occurring over time. So if we were to play this, it's going to run the heat map. Now, this is taking a little long to play. So what I want to do is just click up here on Scene Options, and I'm going to change the whole duration to just 3 seconds. There. And now on my third one, again, let's turn in the other direction. Let's focus just on Manhattan. And I want to zoom in. Let's focus just on the Central Park area. And I'm going to flatten it out that way a little bit more. Tilt it. Zoom in a little bit more. There's Central Park starting to come in focus right here. Great. And I'll leave this at 6, but I want to change the effect here to like a circle. Actually, let's make this one a flyover. So now that we have all this done, if I were to click on Play Tour up here, I'm going to see all 3 scenes occur. So there's my first scene, and now it's turning, and we're going to see the heat map. And remember, this is going to happen in only 3 seconds. And we'll turn again, and you can see it's still using the dates up here and times. And now it's doing this flyover. Notice how we're slowly flying over the park as we do this. And this is how it's created. So let's go back, and I want to change a couple things here. Let's, if I want to change this so it doesn't say layer, I'll click on layer options here, and I'll click on this, and we'll just call this Elevator Complaints NYC 01 01 14 to 03 31 14, and there I have. Now this actually reads this way, but you'll notice it's a little bit different each time. So if I had started that first, I could have just copied it. So let's come up here. I'm going to just copy that, and then we'll paste it into these other ones. I'm doing this a little bit hard way, but that's all right. And again, layer option, and we'll paste that in. So now we have our elevator complaints listed up the whole time. So that's pretty cool. And again, if we play again, this time it'll say elevator complaints in the top. Now the last thing I want to show you is that you could record this by clicking on Create Video, and you could select your video. So I hope that you could think of some really cool uses of this for either your GP data or data from anywhere, actually. If you do, I'd love it if you'd share it with me. I'd like to put it on my blog and feature it. Meanwhile, use this really cool stuff, and I hope this helps. Thanks!